Well, good morning, everyone. Happy 2023. I'm Deborah Hooper with the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, and we are thrilled to see so many join us for our very first Coffee and Conversation of the year. I want to thank our partner, Cone Health, for sponsoring Coffee and Conversation for 2023. We are thrilled to have them on board this year as our Coffee and Conversation partner and sponsor. And at this time, we are going to hear a message from Cone Health.
At Cone Health Sports Medicine, we see all kinds of people. In the paint, really in the paint. Touchdown dancers and stand-up deskers. Fit for whatever moves you. Go to conehealth.com/sportsmedicine today.
All right. Well, we do thank Cone Health for being our sponsor and also for the fantastic care that they provide to our community and keeping us well. And part of wellness is having fun. And so today's topic, we are going to talk about how to, if you have some fun here in Greensboro. It is on the way, some opportunities to really be a very welcoming city once again as tournament town. But before we get started with the program, I also want to thank our Circle of Champions. At the platinum level, we have a Legacy Federal Credit Union, Cone Health, Duke Energy, Lincoln Financial Group, Truist, Truliant Federal Credit Union, and VF Corporation. At the gold level, we have Navant Health and Procter & Gamble. At the silver level, we have Kelly Office Solutions, Ralph Lauren, Staunton Capital, and Atrium Health, Wake Forest Baptist. These circle partners truly help us provide programming throughout the entire year, and we are so grateful to them. So if you're like me, you did have a New Year's resolution that said, I want to have more fun this year. And we are going to have more fun here in Greensboro this year. It is my pleasure to introduce Richard Beard, who is the president and CEO of the Greensboro Sports Foundation. And Richard, you and I have known each other for years, and you have been one of the strongest leaders and advocates of sports here in Greensboro and really helped us build this brand of being tournament town. And I know that there are a lot of folks that love basketball in our community, from high school all the way through college and beyond. And we have some wonderful opportunities to be a welcoming city once again. And so I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the opportunities coming up that we can participate in and support.
Great, thank you. It's great to be a part of this program today. And I see a lot of familiar faces on the screen, both at my days of working at the Chamber in economic development, but throughout the years. And the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce is a huge supporter of our tournament town efforts and when we host these events. So if we can get I've got a presentation here we'll go through, and we can go ahead to the first slide. So I'm gonna go through it pretty quick, and I don't know if there's a chance for any questions afterwards, but anyway, if you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to reach out to me. But I want to give you a little just a brief history of the Greensboro Sports Foundation, because there's a lot of confusion about, you've heard the Greensboro Sports Commission and the Greensboro Sports Council and the Greensboro Sports Foundation. Greensboro Sports Foundation absorbed the Greensboro Sports Commission in 2017 because we were preparing for the 2020 tournament town trifecta, and that's we've coined the three tournaments. We're very fortunate to have the women's ACC championship, the men's ACC championship, and the first and second rounds of the NCAA back to back, which has only happened in Greensboro, North Carolina. And we'll get into this year's tournament town trifecta a little bit later, but it'll be the third time that Greensboro has had 3 championship tournaments back to back to back, and that's unprecedented in the country. But our mission is to enhance our reputation as tournament town, and it is a brand that continues growing. And if we can go to the next slide. We serve as a local organizing committee for the Coliseum and other big national championship events. So it's not all about that. It's not just basketball in Greensboro. There are a lot of other events that we have the opportunity to host. But what the Greensboro Sports Foundation really brings to the table is the second item. We service the events through the activation of what we call our Blue Ribbon Corps, local volunteers. We have a database of 600 volunteers and some of the most dedicated people, because Greensboro is such a giving community, both whether it's with their resources or their time. You know, we're a volunteer community, and what we've been able to show these organizing committees that we work with, that, you know, they're blown away at how we have so many dedicated volunteers come out, and that's what helps us bring a lot of these events. It's two factors. First is facilities, and then second is our volunteer base really makes a difference. We work closely with the Greensboro Convention and Visitors Bureau because they're the ones that are out recruiting these events. They have a sales staff that's out looking for major events, sporting events, youth sports, amateur sports. They work closely with the soccer folks and do a great job to help bring these events here. And then we step in and help execute the event through our volunteers and through other efforts to prepare Greensboro for these events. But since I've joined the Greensboro Sports Foundation, my focus is going to be in advocacy for enhanced and expanded and new facilities to position Greensboro's growth in sports tourism. We already have an incredible sports tourism industry, and you're going to hear more about that. And what motivates me in this role is my love is economic development. And I feel like I'm back in economic development. And this is a small piece of the puzzle to prepare for these great jobs that are coming down the pipeline over the next 5 years. So next slide, please. So these are some of our incredible partners that we have. I mean, you look at these logos here, and there's some pretty impressive national organizations that we have strong relationships with. And there are a lot of cities much larger than Greensboro that are very envious of this portfolio that we have. And you know, our mission is to drive heads and beds. We want to have events that are going to fill up hotels, fill up restaurants, help the retail businesses. And these events that we're bringing from these national brands are certainly doing that. Next slide, please. So here's an interesting slide, and I'll let you go to the next one because the next slide, because it's going to highlight. Go back one. Look, July 2020 through October 2022, and that's coming out of the pandemic. I mean, July was when things started opening up, and if you'll go to the next slide, these two figures that you need to focus on: 253 events and 762,000 hotel room nights over this period of time. And that was driven by youth sports. That was driven by soccer tournaments that we have here, the swim events at the aquatic center. You know, the convention business is now starting to trickle back into the picture here locally. But coming out of the pandemic, there is no question that youth and amateur sports made a huge impact on our recovery from the pandemic. Next slide, please. So what makes Greensboro so successful are our quality and flexible facilities. You see our aquatic center, and if you haven't been through or popped your head in to see the Greensboro Aquatic Center, you really need to do it. It is a world-class facility that's drawing world-class athletes in the swimming world. The swimming world knows Greensboro. When you watch swim event televised on NBC from the Greensboro Aquatic Center. And this is the things that I listen for. The announcers don't say Greensboro, North Carolina. They just say Greensboro because Greensboro is known in the swimming world. And that's a huge testament to building a quality facility like the Greensboro Aquatic Center. And then, of course, it's at our Greensboro Coliseum complex. And I stress complex because a lot of people just think about the arena. But if it wasn't for our special event center, if it wasn't for our ability to put a practice sheet of ice in the special event center and then have the events for U.S. figure skating, that's what drew U.S. figure skating to Greensboro, that we would be able to have a practice sheet next door to the competition arena. And now U.S. figure skating is making that a requirement for any city that they go to. And we've had that event 3 times. Also, that a lot of people in Greensboro don't realize is A&T's got one of the best tracks, probably the best track in the East Coast, but probably second in the country to Oregon, University of Oregon, which was financed by Phil Knight of Nike. But A&T's track brings a lot of events here. And this past summer, we had the AAU Junior Olympics, where 18,000 participants came to Greensboro, the triad, really, because they had to spread out throughout the triad. But 15,000 young athletes were running track and field at A&T. It was an incredible boost to our community. And then, of course, Bryant Park Soccer Complex that many of you all know of, and you may have children playing there now, or you've had children playing there in the past. We can go to the next slide, please. So we need to stay competitive, and part of our effort here at the Sports Foundation is to collaborate with our Parks and Rec departments, with the county and the city, and enhancing, fixing up our already great infrastructure in sports tourism that we have. But they're in disrepair, and we need to fix them up, and we can expand them as well. And it's all about a return on investment. We can drive heads and bed events to Greensboro and the area, but we will also have and bring back first class facilities for our citizens to use. So these are four different focuses that we have here at the Sports Foundation, and I'll go through each one of them as we go through the presentation. Next slide. So this is why we're focused on our facilities, because we have a lot of competition. You have Spencer Love Tennis Center used to be, growing up in Greensboro, I'm a native of Greensboro, so growing up in Greensboro, Spencer Love was state of the art at its time. But over the years, we just haven't kept up with our competition. Our competition, other communities have seen Bryant Park Soccer Facility, and they saw Spencer Love Tennis, and we've got there are a lot of communities focused on youth and amateur sports tourism, and they're spending a lot of money on new facilities. And these are examples of some of our competition that we have that we're losing events to because of their facilities. Next slide. And then even within the state, those were examples outside of the state, but just within the state, Cary has a phenomenal tennis facility, and they're getting ready to spend another $25 million to enhance it. They have the ACC tennis championships every year. The Cary Soccer Complex has ACC soccer championships, and they even had the NCAA Division I soccer championships this year. So we've got some pressure in state as well. Next slide. So here's some of the ideas or some of the discussions that we're having with the city of Greensboro. You can see in the lower right-hand corner, those are 2 artificial turf fields that were built several years ago, thanks to the help of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And Bryant Park is well known for their grass fields and the quality of their grass fields, but there's pressure to practice on the grass fields. So Fortunately, our city council has approved $5.9 million of the American Rescue Funds. It was in the paper, it said Bryan Park North, and we'll talk about Bryan Park North, but it's really for the Bryan Park facilities, including soccer. So we're looking forward to hopefully turfing 2 more fields and then improve 2 of the grass fields out here. But we continuously need to look at improvements at Bryan Park soccer complex. It's around 34 years old now, and there are a lot of deferred maintenance issues that we need to look into. Next slide. So Spencer Love Tennis Center, some of you all may play out here, and many of you all may know about this. This is in J.C. Park in the Battleground Parks District. You see the red clay there. There was a bond in 2016 where there was money to expand Spencer Love. They're finishing up on 6 more courts, so there will be 18 courts out there, and they've done some exterior lipstick on the building, but the building is in disrepair, and we've got, if you go to the next slide, we've got to think bigger. And this is a vision that we have. So we're not trying to compete with Cary Tennis Center in Mobile, Alabama, who have hard courts. We already have a great infrastructure of soft courts, and we'll have 18 once they open up these new courts. We'll have 18 public courts at Spencer Love, but there are about 8 courts down at Latham Park that can be combined when we have new if we try to draw tournaments here. We've lost a lot of tournaments here because of our facilities, but we have a vision to build out J.C. Park or the Spencer Love Tennis Center to 32 courts. It would have a stadium court with some ability to put in temporary seating, new facilities for hospitality, and the North Carolina Tennis Association has told us that this is definitely a build it and they will come opportunity. And why soft courts? You know, as we get older, we want to play on, I don't play tennis, but I hear this, they want to play on soft courts to protect their knees. And in my world, when I'm thinking heads and beds, if we have an older crowd come in, they play their sports, but they also like to go eat and drink at night. And that's a great combination for what we're trying to accomplish here. But this is a vision, and this is going to be a collaboration to get us here. But these are the type visions that we need to start thinking about. Next slide, please. So many people don't know about this. This is Bryan Park North. This is, if you're out at Bryan Park Golf Course and you look over Lake Townsend, directly across from Lake Townsend is, there's 535 acres that was bought by the Bryan Foundation 25 years ago and donated to the city of Greensboro and Guilford County Parks and Recreation Departments for recreational purposes. And there have been some master plans put together, not really, in my opinion, not a whole lot of collaboration with all the stakeholders, and really not a whole lot of thought on how can we maximize this property for a major multiplex facility to draw more events like soccer and lacrosse and field hockey and even baseball, which has a lot of travel, and bring those events in. So the Bryan Foundation has agreed to remaster plan this property, and we're trying to work with the city and the county to all collaborate and see what we can make out of this property. If you go to the next slide. Because we need to start thinking about a project like what Springfield, Georgia is doing, or Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I mean, even Asheboro has recently put in 8 artificial turf soccer fields because they know the impact of this sports tourism in the community. Next slide. And also, our Greensboro Coliseum. And when you go inside the Greensboro Coliseum, Matt Brown and Scott Johnson and their team do a phenomenal job to keep the interior up to date. But there are a lot of needs on the exterior. The exterior is 30 years old, and there's an ephes around the top where you see the Greensboro Coliseum sign, which does not exist. There's not any signage like that today. But it's time to, the ephes covering has a 25-year life expectancy, and we're in our 30th year. And it's time to do some major renovations on the exterior to keep that building relevant, to keep bringing ACC tournaments and NCAA tournaments and even US figure skating as well. Next slide. So here are the upcoming events. The first quarter of 2023 is robust to say the least. But in February, two great swimming championships. The ODAC conference is Division III, but then we have that. We're still very locked in with the ACC on championships, and this is a great example with women's and men's swimming and diving. I've already mentioned the tournament in town trifecta that will be the first 3 weeks in March, but during the week of the NCAA men's first and second rounds, why not throw in a Division III National Swimming and Diving Championship? Greensboro doesn't turn anything down. So that's going to be a very busy time, but a lot of opportunities for our volunteers that they're excited about. Excuse me. And then why National Short Course, National Swimming? That could be 1,500 swimmers that come in for the week. And we have an ongoing relationship with the YMCA to bring their nationals here. And matter of fact, the first national that was awarded to Greensboro was when there was not even a roof on our aquatic center. So, and then we'll have women's golf and of course our Wyndham Championship. But I've mentioned the AAU Junior Olympic Games, which will be coming back in 2024. And we've got other dates on the books for AAU Junior Olympics. But many of you all saw the news about the World University Games, and I was involved in and had the opportunity to go with the team out of the Triangle to we lost the bid for 2027, but the governing body of that organization realized that North Carolina had done a great job, and so last week they awarded North Carolina and the United States of America the 2029 World University Games. Next slide. And here's something that I want everybody to make an effort to attend. So we're going to celebrate our Tournament Town trifecta and 3 weeks of basketball on Monday, February 27th, which is the week of the beginning of the women's tournament. This is a free event. RSVP, it's for you and a guest. But get the word out. It's free. It's music, food, ACC mascot, a lot of excitement. But it's important for us to come out as a community, not only to celebrate these great events, but it shows the ACC that there's no better place in the ACC footprint to have the championship games than Greensboro. The next slide. And of course, I'm never going to pass up the opportunity to make the pitch to join our Tournament Town volunteer team. It's unbelievable to be able to get inside the ropes, as I like to call it, with some world-class athletes. One of my favorite events is timing at swimming events, and to be at the pool deck in Greensboro at our aquatic center and to have Katie Ledecky get up on the starting block, and she's just an unbelievable athlete, but to be able to see it live, and she's been here. She came twice. There were 2 different meets in 2022, and but to see it on the front row as a volunteer is incredible. So anyone, or if you know people, get the word out that if you want to get involved, you just go to our website, greensborosf.com/volunteers, and just sign up. You'll get emails for opportunities. If it doesn't suit you, if you're not interested, no problem, but it's a great opportunity to give back to Greensboro and really make a difference. So that's all, that's my presentation. And
okay. Richard, quick question. And first of all, thank you so much for providing the context so that we can all better understand how important sports tourism is to Greensboro, and also how important it is to not only have the amenities and all the sports offerings that we currently have, but how we can also remain competitive. So, our community can also be welcoming. We can also participate in the fun, as you said, with, the community tip-off party, and we can also give back by volunteering. Is there also an opportunity for folks to buy tickets to these events?
Yes, and thank you for asking that question. Of course, the Women's ACC Championship is one of the most affordable events that you'll go to at the Greensboro Coliseum. And the basketball is incredible. I mean, the ACC women's, they have about 5 teams in the top 25. When you look at rankings in basketball, the women's side of ACC basketball is doing much better than the men. So we welcome you all to bring the families out, and tickets are available for the Women's ACC Championship. For the first time in the history of the ACC tournament, men's tournament, tickets are on public sale. You can buy ticket books through Ticketmaster, through the Coliseum, ticket books for the entire tournament. And I'll tip you off that if you're not interested in buying a book, they will start selling individual tickets for the tournaments, I think on February 17th. So you can keep your eye out for that. But that's the first time ever that it's been open to the public like that. So we really want Greensboro to put on a good showing for that. And then the NCAA, those tickets are available for sale too. But one other thing that, and Deborah brings up a good point about, being a welcoming community. I can't tell you how many times we have people come up to us and say, everybody is so nice. Well, that's just how we are. So, but it really resonates. And when they go around the community and just people on the streets downtown, and they give you a smile and say hello, that makes a difference. If you see a swim t-shirt from, a swim team from somewhere in the United States, just saying hello and welcome to Greensboro goes a long, long way.
Absolutely. Richard, Beth Livingston just put in the chat room that she tried to access tournamenttown.com, but it only accessed a password field. Is that a website that we use?
Tournamenttown.com is a website that we use, and as soon as we finish this this session here, I'm going to be on the phone trying to find out why. So be patient, but keep that in your tickler, because tournamenttown.com will be corrected very soon. I promise.
Awesome. Richard, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Outstanding presentation. And we all look forward to continuing to support sports tourism in Greensboro. And we are excited about what's coming to our community for us to support and enjoy as well. So thank you for being with us. I also want to thank Cone Health for being our Coffee and Conversation partner, and for all of the fantastic ways that Cone Health's colleagues take care of our community and help us stay well. So thank you, Cone Health. At this time,